Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to heat it up today. The fourth industrial revolution equals the XRP ledger. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $4.1 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 1.2%. Bitcoin 115,000 plus right now. Ethereum 4,500 plus. XRP number 3 spots $3.04. Now we're up 1.3 on the 24, but we're up 6.9 on the 7-day. Like seeing that for a minute. Ranging between 298 and 306. We'll keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Caleb and Brown. Put the power of Caleb and Brown right in your hands 24/7 with their new app. Listen, first of all, go to XRPWealth589.com and sign up today. Look, the personal touch service from Caleb and Brown is pretty remarkable. And until you use it, you're not going to know. That's why so many people have sent me messages and go, this is incredible. I love it. Look, I don't keep all my assets in one place. I keep them in multiple places. And the places that I keep my asset give me the first foundational principle to investing, which is safety, security with the custody of my assets. And I tell you, I find that with Caleb and Brown and the others that I store with, and you will too. Don't mess around. Go to XRPWealth589.com and open your account today and find out. Take a look at this. Now, we showed this yesterday that the Treasury and the Fed are running out of runway. Because why? Because the U.S. Treasury repurchased $2 billion of its own debt. Now, listen, that brings the total buyback of the debt in the past 4 weeks to $10 billion, not million, billion with a B, which means that if they're buying their own debt, it's because other countries won't. That's a problem. And that problem is going to run into a wall because we're running out of room. Usually they kick the can down the road, but the crisis this time is at the doorstep of the central banks, ladies and gentlemen. And listen to this clip from Paul Barron and this lady here on the show, and she nails it perfectly.
What has happened, Paul, is we've had the corporations, the banks, the real estate, every industry in the world, and specifically here in America, has gotten used to very cheap credit. Yeah. And so that has created asset bubbles. Real estate, probably the largest, right? We are entering a debt spiral. And this is kind of the interesting part of the crypto space, because the new technology frontier really is what most real economists are counting on to outpace the interest growth. So in other words, interest is growing so fast that we have to have something massive like the fourth industrial revolution come along and grow even faster. Otherwise, we're going to enter a debt spiral that is not recoverable from.
This is exactly what we've been talking about for 8 years on this channel. This is remarkable. She's nailed it. This is Rebecca Walser, by the way. I think it's the Walser group that she has. Look, she's absolutely right here. You need a fourth industrial revolution to have this Cambrian explosion of activity to then be able to outpace the level of debt. I also would imagine there's going to be a devaluation of the dollar to devalue the debt. So hold on tight for that one too. So all of this is coming. And you know what? Then there's this. XRPLedger multi-purpose token standard, 25 trillion global trade market. How XRP's Ledger multi-purpose token MPT standard helps Fort Stock unlock trillions in idle inventory. This originally from Ripple X and posting their news about Fort Stock using XRPLedger's multi-purpose token standard to turn idle warehouse inventory into usable collateral, close to 2.5 to 5 trillion trade finance gap. This is remarkable. You're taking warehouse inventory and making it so you can collateralize that position. This is where the new world is going. And it isn't just going to be Fort Stock that does it. This is going to be, think of it. There's even talk of being able to measure the gold that is in the ground for gold mines and then collateralize against the gold that's in the ground before you even take it out, or even if you don't take it out. How about that? So this world is changing so quickly and so fast, but a lot of people don't see it because we're just looking for our bags to go up, right? Everything will take care of itself as long as we keep seeing the things come to fruition that we're going to cover today. Now let's take a look at this. FDIC spotlighted a forward-looking crypto agenda and fair access reforms, signaling a major pivot towards transparency, institutional clarity, and broader participation in digital finance. That's what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. And then this, we see Christine Lagarde say it was a pleasure to welcome Commissioner Paul Atkins, chairman of the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, to the European Central Bank. Tokenization going global. And I spelled it wrong because of the typo. I type for shit. I tell you, it's awful. And I tell you, I use like 2 fingers and then I never read because I'm moving so quickly. So then it looks like a third grader. Well, not even a failing third grader wrote it. But don't worry, the weekend's here. So I will get some flashcards and spend some time with it over the weekend. Or how about the super app? Is anybody even thinking about the level of motion that's going to happen in the new digital on-chain economy, or the use of real USD once we see the launch of super apps and all this enterprise finance on the back end? According to data from RLUSD Burn Tracker, more than 2.7 million RLUSD were recently destroyed in a single transaction. This is the biggest burn in many weeks. And I say, what would the level of RLUSD be when we see the super app launched, right? Or when we see some of the stuff I'm about to show you, which here is a good point before we move on about stablecoins from Cody Carbone, the president of the Digital Chamber. Stablecoin rewards aren't loopholes. They're not the same as bank interest. They don't come with guaranteed returns, and they often depend on how people actually use the platform. Calling them interest in disguise misses the point. People want choice, better returns, and innovation in payments. Limiting rewards will just kill progress. I think this is absolutely spot on here from Cody Carbone from the Digital Chamber, because the banks are scared. Anders has it right. He goes, banks are scared. I mean, and this is exactly why they're fighting the yield on stable coins. And I think it's terrible because it honestly does kind of, dampen the possibilities for stable coins and the proliferation thereof. But nonetheless, we're getting that market infrastructure bill too. And here's a listen to Dave Stravinsky here. Take a listen to him.
Yeah, no, I am a fan of Bitcoin. I think it's going to rally. It's a real asset. It is going to have real value in the future. The challenge is it doesn't transact. It doesn't solve the real world problems. There's other blockchain for that, but I think that Bitcoin is positioned well. It's just going to probably cool off for a second as real world applications come out here and new technology.
And I think what we haven't seen yet that I still think we will eventually see is a separation of wheat and chaff of, what are the assets? How are these technologies being used to solve real problems that have real demand versus ones, I'll pick on Dogecoin. I don't get it. Other than Elon Musk as the central actor, I don't see the use case and the purpose. And I'm sure I'll get lots of shit for saying that Dogecoin's not, but oh well.
And there you have it. I think Brad Garlinghouse said it really great right there. We are exiting, as Dave Stravinsky said, we are exiting a speculative phase and entering a utility phase, and that's exciting for all of us. And I'm going to show you why. One, we know BRIC central banks have officially confirmed years of XRPLedger development, with newly released documents showing technology has been integrated into financial infrastructure planning. Like, one, we know Russia has tested it. I just covered it a couple days ago, yesterday and the day before. We know India has deep connections with the XRP ledger, directly and indirectly. We know that China has indirect connections with the XRP ledger, right? Brazil has deep connections with the XRP ledger, right? So there are BRICS countries already on the move, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have here at home. So take a listen to this.
US major banks on Ripple, question here. We're working very closely with Bank of America Merrill Lynch. They are one of the 7 core banks which are helping us create our governance structure. So the complete list is Bank of America Merrill Lynch, CIBC Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Tokyo, Mitsubishi, which is the fourth largest bank in the world, Santander Group, number 19 worldwide, and Standard Chartered Group, and Westpac Australia. And we chose those banks to give us a good global spread around the world. So we have very good input from different markets and different thinking.
There you have it right there. Bank of America to Royal Bank of Canada to Australia. Ripple has a global network set up to serve the world. This is where we're going. You know, this is what the maxis are scared of and why they keep saying we're a crap coin and all this other business, right? I think deep down they understand that when legislation comes out and we no longer have this uneven playing field, we move to a level playing field. That's what scares everyone, but it excites all of us. Take a look at this. Remember, we just covered this yesterday too. This is what an internet of value looks like when it's being born right before our eyes. It's not only the global network between Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, and Australia. It expands to Thunes, which is in Singapore, which reaches out to 50 or 70 plus million mobile app users, and then 130 different countries plus. It's insane. SBI in Japan, BBVA in Spain, tapping a $5 trillion market with the help of Chipper Cash, Yellow Card, and Valar in Africa. Look, I think you're getting it, right? I mean, come on, Congress. We need that Clarity Act, right? I mean, this is what's happening here. This is an old clip of Chris Larson, who is a board member, chairman of the board now, used to be the CEO before Brad Garlinghouse. Take a listen to what he says and think about what we just went over. And he said this years ago.
We agree that this is the beginning of an internet of value. That is now possible. It wasn't possible before Bitcoin. Bitcoin showed it was possible to do this. Ripple's taking that and with using a different technology based on the same principles. But the key thing is we think just like the early days of the internet of knowledge, going back 20 years ago, that internet would not have value unless you got the key custodians of knowledge on board, the universities, the research facilities, think ARPANET, Stanford. We think we're in that same period with the internet of value, that before these technologies have key utility, we have to get the custodians of value on board first. And those are the banks, financial institutions, market makers.
You know, the entities that I just went over and showed you.
Then I think we're set up where these things can have tremendous value across the board. And so again, the value these things bring are speed of payments, seconds from days, the ability to correspond directly bank to bank with much less counterparty risk in process, and with fundamentally more competition for foreign exchange and liquidity for those institutions, which will trickle down to the businesses and consumers that use those institutions.
There you have it. You know, like Bank of America to Royal Bank of Canada, right, to Australia's bank, right, or Thunes, BBVA, SBI in Japan. We could keep going to the tune of 300 plus that we know about. We don't have to, because that's what's coming. And ultimately, who knows? The idea is for XRP to be liquid like a Swiss franc, maybe even grow to serve the role of becoming the electronic tokenized special drawing right for the IMF. Think of it for a moment. United States Treasury's buying back $10 billion worth of its own debt in the last 4 weeks because no one else wants it. Something's got to happen, because if it doesn't, we got a Mad Max sequel for the rest of our life. And I'm not looking for that. When in doubt, zoom out. This is Ripples and Whales right here. Shout out to you, my friend. And this chart is speaking to me. I don't need to see numbers. I just looking at the total market cap for crypto right here. And here's the wedge. And it looks like this bad mama is about ready to pop and go crazy. And I can't wait for it to do it. And I know you can't either. Listen, it's not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're getting very close now. Our only fault is that we've been early, and that fault has been our win. It's been our advantage. And for the first time in my life, I'm front running Wall Street. Like I've said this before, for the first time in my life, the crap is about to hit the fan, and I'm not standing in front of the fan. That feels pretty damn good. We're going into the Freedom Zone. I hope you will join us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to tackle a few things today, and we got some footage you're absolutely going to want to see about the horrific events this week and the anniversary of a horrific event, and you need to see it. I hope you will join us. Click the link below and join us in the Patreon, on X, or on YouTube. Same price, same perks, all your daily videos with 0 Google ads, worth the price of admission in itself, and the extra content we're about to get into today. So come on in.